After my first fully conscious visit to the Peak of Serenity, I returned to the world feeling like a new person. I ventured forth into the great woods of Feralas, riding along twisting pathways that went between trees so enormous it could hardly be believed. Everything here was green, alive, and flourishing. I could feel the connection between all things as I walked beneath the canopy, the invisible force linking the trees and animals, the stones, and even myself. It all felt so real then, more real than life had ever felt before, as if the colors were more vivid, the sounds more audible, the air brimming with the smells and tastes of the ancient wood. At times, as I sat alone in the forests, I could almost see those connections, see the life force shooting between rock and tree, or even between wolf and prey. And yes, there was violence and conflict here as well. I watched for quite some time as the stone giants of the region battled one another, throwing punch after punch, their rocky bodies never tiring and their tempers never fading. I would try talking to them, reasoning with them, trying to figure out exactly why they battled and what could bring them to peace. But it was an exercise in futility. Just as leaves fell from trees and rocks tumbled from mountains, the giants clashed. It was their nature, and while it might have seemed foolhardy to me, I was beginning to realize that a part of wisdom is not expecting others to be as wise as you are. My wisdom might have been folly to the giants, and even if it were not, who was I to say what was right for them? Thus, I moved on. I wandered, striding across mossy roads, taking ancient pathways that twisted their way around stony mesas and ocean views. I breathed in the revitalizing air of the woods, feeling at one with my inner peace. Though my mind was at peace, I knew that I could do much good with my martial skills. I fought, but with calmness in my heart, battling to protect those in need. I assisted both the local druids and the rough, brutish ogres of the region. I passed within sight of night elf settlements, and I ventured into the fabled ruins of Dire Maul with allies, exploring the marvelous ruins and battling fierce foes within. I found myself on the eastern end of Feralas, assisting my fellow Tauren as they fought off the advances of the hostile Grim Totem tribe. But soon I grew tired of my journeying and my battles, and I found I needed a moment of respite in this land of extraordinary beauty. I found myself looking up at one of its waterfalls. I was reminded of the words of a great sage. Life is a waterfall. We're one in the river and one again after the fall. As my mind grew entrained and relaxed by the constant gurgling of the water, I contemplated these words and their truth. I'd felt a constant unity during my travels here, a connection with the trees, the rocks, the beasts of the wood. The illusion of life, the waterfall of the metaphor, is that we are separate, isolated drops of water, hurtling through a frightening and chaotic existence. Above, in the pre-life existence of the river, there is no separation. Neither does exist below, after our lives are over. In both cases, there is only the river, a unified and cohesive whole. A fun little concept to contemplate. Is it true? I do not know. I suppose it is no more true than any parable or other symbolic language. Such things are not true in themselves, but merely point to a truth that lies beyond language to describe. Still, truth or no truth, I was content as I sat upon a rock and looked out over the waterfalls of Feralas.